always tuning in and watching my videos. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more and more interviews. And on today's video, we have a guest with us, Ava. He's going to introduce himself and what he does. Yeah, and today's video, we're going to talk about programming. Let's learn today. So, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Yes, my name is Graham. Graham Ocheng Osano. Yes, I'm a programmer professionally.
Okay.
Yes.
So, you being a programmer, what do you do for a living?
Basically, just the art of programming. I do build programs. If you know about maybe these programs they use at the supermarket, maybe the ones which how to talk about like just the normal the one they use in schools, hospitals for maintaining records. I build programs like those ones.
Okay.
Yes.
So somebody may watch this video and don't understand what you mean by program. You get the program. What will you tell them?
Okay, program is basically just like I don't know how you put that in a layman terms, but it's like a way of doing something on an electronic device. It's like the engine behind every hardware that you have in a computer, just any electronic device. Yeah, so that's program is like a group of written statements that means a particular thing to the machine.
Okay.
Yes, something like that.
Okay. So which software development process do you follow, you as a person?
You mean the programs I use for programming or which one?
Yeah, for programming.
Okay, I do. There are several, but the ones I specialize on currently, I do Python mostly.
Okay.
So Python is like I do Python, and then a framework for Python known as Django, and then I also do Visual Basic Application, and then I also do HTML. This is the one which we use to design websites, and then there is also which one? I rarely use it. There's the Visual Basic Application. So this one I use only for building light programs, like the one which work on Excel.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, talking about creating programs and using what you have told us, the softwares that you're using, do we have limitations for those softwares?
Of course, there are limitations. Like there's some softwares which can do certain things. If for example, if you're looking for something which is very very secure, something which maybe you don't want somebody to easily hack into it, steal your information, maybe use it wrongly, then you can use a programming language which is different from the one. Like you can use Python. It is really really safe, very secure. You can use that one instead of using the Visual Basic Application. Then something else, if somebody, for example, is programming based on Visual Basic Application, there are certain things which is limited to it. There are things he cannot do with that one, which he can easily do with Python. So that's why I prefer Python mostly more than the other one.
Okay. And why do you think it's important for an entrepreneur like the supermarket to have such programs?
It's important because we cannot bookkeep manually. We are past the point where we're doing things manually. There was a time in the past where people used to keep records manually. Some would write, okay, this person has bought this, I've done this, I've done this. But we are beyond that point. Right now, everything is automated. So if you want work to go quickly, you want more accountability, you want things to work for you correctly, then you truly do need a program which does that. Like, imagine right now if if in a supermarket it was a manual system where the cashier had to manually write your receipt. It would take in fact we would not have supermarket. Yes, it would be completely useless. Because that's why we need programs. Programs make it very very much easier. It brings more accountability. It's very very safe. A lot of things can be done within a very small space. Like we can have as many as million customers, but just put them inside one flash disk, all the records. But you cannot do that if you're doing it manually. You cannot record 1,000, 1 million on a paper and then put them. So you cannot do that. Correct.
Okay, what is the first programming language you learned?
Okay, first of all, I started in high school. I started programming in high school. I was a good programmer in high school. So I started by programming Excel files.
Okay.
Yes, I used to program. I used to automate macros. I used to just design the light programming. I used to use Visual Basic Application Programming Language. So it's the lightest. It's the one where everybody should start from. If you want to know how to program, maybe you're just starting. It's very good to start from that point. So I started from Visual Basic Application before I moved to the others.
Okay.
Yes.
So Visual Basic was the first one you learned. And so far so good. Can you still use the Visual Basic right now, or your advanced side?
Oh, there is no way you can be advanced that you cannot use the previous one, because the previous one is still there are places where it is needed, so you have to use it still. The only thing that I do is if somebody asks me for an advice, then I'll recommend something a bit complicated and something more secure than that one.
Okay.
Correct.
And can you do barcoding?
Barcoding.
Or not barcoding, coding.
Yes, coding is basically the programming itself.
Okay.
So by writing programs down, it's what is known as coding. Most people will call it coding, you'll call it programming, will call it script writing, whatever you call it. It's what is known as coding. Yes, correct.
So, what do you enjoy most in programming?
Look, I do enjoy a lot of things because it gives me the power of creation. It's like the creator extends his ability to a human being. Like you just need to think of something and bring it into existence. Imagine right now if there were no mobile phones. What would happen? We would be completely in chaos. In fact, I'm very sure that the kids that are being born now, they cannot believe that there was a time when there was no mobile phones.
Yeah, that's true.
But somebody actually programmed it. So you can imagine the power that person gave to the world. So programming basically gives me the ability to create things. I could think of something, I could create it. I could think of something, I could just implement it. I could think of a computer game and create it. I could think of how two things can interact electronically and then create it as a program. Yes, that's what I enjoy the most about programming. It gives you more freedom, and then you're also flexible. I could be here, do my own things. I could be somewhere else. I could even go home, still program at home. I would even go abroad and still continue the same thing I was doing. Yes, nothing limits me. Yes.
So you being a programmer, are there challenges that you face on your daily work or when doing your programming?
Yes, there are challenges because sometimes we meet difficult clients. Like there's some people that they don't know exactly what they want, or like they don't have clear specification. They don't know exactly that this is what we are looking for. So they'll give you that. They'll give you a script. Okay, I want you to do this, do this, do this, do this. After you do it, they keep telling you, okay, we now have to change this. Even when it's not necessary, they may still ask you for it. So that's the only challenge I'm facing. And then things keep changing. Like every day new programming languages come up, and you have to keep learning them just to keep in touch with whatever is happening around you. So you find that right now I may say, okay, I've done Visual Basic Application, I've done maybe Python, I've done Django. Django is just a framework of Python, and then I've done also all the simplest one that entails programming websites. But something else may come up which I have to learn afresh. So you have to it keeps changing, you keep learning new things, and new problems keeps coming up which you have to solve programming in a program. You have to solve with a program.
Okay. So you being a programmer and talking about coding and stuff, can you make like a phone, can you make a phone? Because even our phones have a program. And
so I could not create the physical phone. It's not possible because I don't have the necessary materials to create physically. Yes, but the applications behind it, that I can create. So as long as you can do programming, you can actually create applications. So depending on which programming language you learn, you can be able to create some programs on the phone, and others you cannot create completely. Yes.
Which are those others that you can't create completely?
Okay. I don't have the list now, but for example, one thing, a website can be accessed via the phone, which means it's just some program which can be accessed via the phone that anybody can create. There are some, for example, there's some applications like the one which is used for banking system. It must be built with a given language. and maybe you don't have that language, your understanding don't include that one, so you cannot use it. Yes, yes. So that's what limits me, but I can't say it's specifically this program. Mostly there are banking programs. There are those that need more security. They need more complications. Yes, correct.
Okay. Do you, as a programmer, do you prefer working as a team or working on your own?
Okay, sometimes I do prefer team, sometimes I do prefer individual. Okay, the reason being, if you're depending on the complexity of the work you're doing, like sometimes you have a program which involves developing a website. It involves attaching the website to an application on the phone, and at the same time it involves just creating some background engine to that website. So those are three different things which there may be somebody who is way better than me on one of them. So I'd rather source that person than struggling to do it with what I know. So it's a way of sourcing speciality. Like I get somebody who knows that one better than me, even though I know it, so that he does that part and I do my part, and we put it together so that the outcome is good for both of us.
Can you hack somebody's account?
Which account exactly?
We have these big companies, like we have KRA, Safaricom.
Of course, the understanding we have can do that, but it is illegal to do that, so we cannot do it. Even if that knowledge can be used, we can use that knowledge to protect those systems rather than cracking it.
Do you got tempted and do you feel like, let me do?
No, I've not been tempted. Honestly, no. I'm that type of person who wants to. I just want to do my pro in a way that I find peace in it. Cracking involves going against many people, so that's I don't want to do that for now. No.
So and how do you feel about this generation? Most of us, we are advancing to the technology world, and how does that make you feel as a programmer?
I feel really good because when I was very young, sometimes back, my parents, my dad actually used to tell me that very soon everything will be done online. Everything will be done online. So if you check clearly, if you check keenly, you'll see that it is true that everything is actually being done online. Most things, most real actual things are done online. If you want a house, you look for it online. If you want to rent a car, you look for it online. If anything, technically, you can even order food online. The only thing they do manually is delivering, but the real part of it is done online. So I feel really happy as a program, because I know that there are a lot of opportunities keeps coming in for programmers, and if the more we learn, the more we know, and the more we can create. Another thing is, if we get more people online, the more we'll be able to help more people to create more things for their own. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And talking about ordering food online, have you ever done that kind of programming you yourself?
No, I've not done that. I've done for our hotel system, but not for ordering food online. Yes, I've done like for bookkeeping for a given hotel, but it was not for booking online. No. That. No.
What's the difference between the bookkeeping and the booking online, and how long does it take to do the bookkeeping and this other one?
Okay, so the one where you do bookkeeping is where you just want the hotel. It is localized. That is, you just want the hotel to keep records of how many people are coming into the hotel, how many people are currently in the hotel, which foods did they order, what are they drinking, just anything, just local things. How many workers do I have in this hotel? How much do I pay them? How much will I owe after this duration? They are just done locally. You don't need anything like internet to implement that. It's just done locally, and you'll have an accountant or somebody just typing in the names of people, printing documents, just like that. But the booking one, which is done online, is where now you have to involve the internet. Somebody could be in a different geographical location and still come to you.
Okay.
So how it's done is this: you'll build a localized system and then expand it to outside world. So they're entirely not two different. It's just one thing which has been extended to include more people, even those that are outside it.
Do you keep your programming and technical knowledge up to date?
Okay, I try to find new tasks as much as possible. I try to find new problems to solve as much as possible. Like if for example today I have an issue that I'm thinking this thing can be solved with a program, then I try to implement it on my own. And if I find somebody who has a problem which can be solved with a program, I also tell them that look, this thing can solve like this, then I try to build that for them. Then if there is a new language which I think is useful or is more secure, I try to learn it. Because if you learn one programming language, it's like learning how to drive. You don't need to start driving afresh if you're learning to drive a different type of a car. You just extend from where you left the previous one. So it's the same thing with the program. You learn one language, then extend it. They just use the same statements, the same reserved words to do the same things for even different programming languages. Correct.
And will you now we are advancing to technology, this generation, will you advise someone, a young entrepreneur, to do his business or her business technologically or manually?
Technologically, of course. Look, let me give you something. Let me just tell you something small. Assuming there are no programs running on airplanes, that planes were just left to be run manually, they are flying on top manually, there is no autopilot programs, there is nothing like that. What do you think would happen? Or even cars. There is no autopilot, there is no such thing as indicators, because even a car has a program in it. What do you think would happen? There would be more accidents. In real time, you'll find there are a lot of accidents. There would be congestion everywhere. So because nowadays there are many. No, we are not living in the 80s where there are very few people. Nowadays there are very many people want to use the same resource at once. So if I was to tell you to go manually, you'd be limiting how many people you can give access to what we are offering. So program gives the ability to open it opens you up for many people at once. Because if for example I have to come to your shop, order one item, they have to queue. For a program, you don't have to queue. Millions of people can do the same ordering at once.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, talking about programming, how many languages do we have on program?
There are very many. I don't think there is anyone individual who actually knows all of them at once. There are very many, but currently the most used ones are the ones I mentioned, Python.
Okay.
Python. There are others I don't want to mention because I don't advocate for them, of course. But you can use C+, you can use C. They are still very good.
And which one is the favorite?
Yes, Python. Python is Python.
But Python
So the name has nothing to do with the snake, the animal. Yes, correct.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you, learning Python is hard.
It's not hard. It's not hard. You just need to commit yourself. You need a problem to solve with it, then you'll be able to learn it.
Okay, how long did it take for you? How long did it take for you to learn?
I already knew programming before.
Yeah.
So when I learned about Python, it just took me like a week to catch up because I was already good in some other languages. So I was just extending. It's like I already know how to drive already. I'm now trying just to add more things to whatever I know. Correct.
In school, you're not taught about all languages, right? So hizi zingine ni wewe ujitafutie, ni wewe learn peke yako, you know how to survive. Do you think we have our education system needs to correct on that, we leave it at that way? If you're interested, go search for it, learn for it at your own. Okay,
there's a reason why in schools you don't learn all of them. I do have a cousin who did computer science.
Okay.
So when I had an issue with programming, I went and asked him, how do you think you can solve this? He said, okay, I don't know anything about programming, but he did computer science and he passed clearly. So what he said is this: you are only given introduction to whatever the language is. They say, okay, this is Python, this is what it involves, just some few reserved words. How you use it, you're the one who knows.
Okay.
So if the education system we have now, if they could start saying, okay, we'll be teaching people these languages to all of it, they would be limiting humans, they would be limiting students. Because if they did that, I would most likely be remaining with the one I was taught in high school, visual basic application. I would remain with that because that was everything. But because there was not enough education. I had to find exactly what I needed to learn. It's like learning small in the university is really good because it gives you the ability to expand where you need to expand, not expanding everywhere.
Okay.
So it stops you from learning other things unnecessarily. You learn only what you need to learn and then you use it. But let me tell you something. When I have an issue which I need to sort and it involves our website, I go and learn HTML or whichever program that involves our website. So I don't remain with what I was taught at the university. But if I had to remain with that one, then it means I would be remaining with things that I don't need. Yes, correct.
Okay, talking about we have these apps online, like we have Instagram, we have Twitter, and these are mostly used by many people online. And what makes it like do we like when creating these apps or these programs, how are we making it different from these other learning programs like or business programs online?
Okay, there's no difference. The only difference could be the reason it's being created.
Okay.
Because somebody can have a different reason for having Instagram, another person for having Facebook, or another one for having different things. But the language they use mostly is Python.
Okay.
Instagram is Python, Facebook is Python, I think Google also is Python. Most of them are just Python because of the level of security, the level of features it gives you. Yes.
And you yourself, can you create like your own Google app, like something, an app?
I don't search engine or something.
Yeah, of searching.
Okay, Google is search engine. That's how you call it. So I could create that one. So the only thing that will be there is now marketing, which should now be done with business people for marketing it. But I could create something like that.
Why don't you try creating such a thing, Helga?
Okay, you create based on need. If I need something, I create it. If I don't need it, I don't go there unless somebody else who needs it comes along. So unless I need just to experiment and find out how it works, but personally, I only create based on need. If somebody comes along who needs it, I do it. If there is no one and I also don't need it, I pause it.